Hello and welcome to softball coverage on WCBN Sports Radio. We're very excited to bring you live coverage of Game 3 of this weekend series between the Michigan Wolverines and the Illinois Fighting Illini on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon. I'm Adam Bressler, joined by Stevie MacGreggor. How are you doing today, Stevie?
Doing great, Adam. Sun's out. It's about balmy 50 degrees here in Michigan. It's just a beautiful day for some softball.
This is what you expect and hope for when you want spring softball. I don't think it's that much of a stretch when I say this is the nicest day all around in Ann Arbor in 2023 so far.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to just get nicer and nicer, too. So we are very lucky to broadcast this game today, and then up in the next week it's supposed to be 75.
Yeah, it's supposed to get even nicer, and I mean that just means even more good days for softball. So
certainly
cannot complain.
So starting off, Michigan looking to go above 500 in Big Ten play. Coming into this game, they're 4-4 in the conference with a 18-15 record. Provide that to Illinois with a pretty strong 23-16 overall record, but only 2-7 in the conference. Yeah. So big game for both programs, especially early in this conference play. A lot of time to turn things around, but it's going to start here and see who wins this series in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Adam, this is the rubber game in this series as teams split the first two, runs being at a premium in both. So this is going to be a game that look to get on these starting pitchers early.
So we had Durkowski in the circle. Pitches the first one high for a ball. We got Stevie Mead, the sophomore, stepping in, left fielder for Illinois. 1-0 count. Looking in, rocking back and throwing. Grounder to third baseman, scoops it up, throws to first. Bang, bang play for the first out here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, good start there for Durkowski, as she's been Michigan's ace so far this year with 138 strikeouts through 114 innings. She's been dominant, pitching to a 1.9 ERA, and just more of the same there. Just a nice, easy ground ball, letting Audrey Leclerc make the play.
Avery Steiner steps into the box for the second batter of this game. First pitch is in low for a ball. Left-hander having a little bit of a run-up for the swing right there, but ultimately held off. 1-0 pitch coming in. This one's going to be low and away for ball two. Michigan bringing in the energy in this one. Solid show out. It's Dollar Day. That always brings the fans out to Alumni Field at Carroll Hutchins Stadium. 2-0 count. Wind up in the pitch. This is going to be high for ball three. After a quick first out, Durkowski is one pitch away from allowing the first base runner.
Yeah, and Durkowski kind of taking a little trip around the mound to resettle herself and recenter herself.
Here's the payoff pitch, and that's going to be ball four. Pitch is high and away, so 4 straight pitches. Gives Illinois their first base runner with 1 out and 1 on.
And this Illinois lineup, especially the top of it, is led by a core of seniors, starting with Avery Steiner and then going with Kelly Riono, who's currently at the plate. They get on base a lot and produce most of the runs for this Illinois lineup.
After throwing 4 straight balls, finally fires a strike in. 0-1 count right down the middle to the right-hander. Rock back in the throw. This one's going to get away from the catcher, and we got movement on the base path. Steiner will take second quite handedly.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at Steiner right before that pitch, wondering if any movement might occur. 7 stolen bases on this season so far, and 25 runs scored. Has yet to be picked off trying to steal a base, but didn't even have to steal right there. Got away from the catcher. Wind up in the throw. Going to be a called strike right there. Beautiful changeup. caught the batter looking. Going to be a 1-2 count with one out and a runner in scoring position on second. Huge pitch to bring up 2 outs here. Rock back in the throw. It's going to be hit up into the air, getting under its catcher. And that'll be the second out of this first inning. After 4 straight balls and walking on a base runner, getting back in the groove for Durkowski, and that'll send Riono back to the dugout.
Yeah, a real nice play there from catcher Riley Karakaburo, and getting up from her crouch that quickly and fielding that pop-up.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. So we got a pitch, and it's a soft grounder to the third baseman, scoops it up and throws, gets the third out. LeClaire to Livingston. Saw that twice already this inning, and that'll bring up 3 outs quickly. Michigan defense on point.
Yeah. Real good start here for the Wolverines. That 4-pitch walk was kind of the anomaly of the inning.
Yeah.
We saw Durkowski go right at that Illinois lineup and produce some weak contact. And I don't think any of them, any pitch or no contact got out of the infield, which is always something you like to see. It's usually hard to score when that happens. So
totally.
Great start here from Durkowski.
In the middle of this first inning, we had no hits, no runs, 1 runner left on base, and no errors.
Yeah.
And Michigan, the first out and the third out looked eerily similar, both weak contact plays, as you mentioned, right to Livingston at third, able to toss it, or LeClaire at third, and toss it over to Livingston.
Yeah, and if I'm Michigan, I'm going to be looking to get after Lauren Wiles early. She's not really a strikeout pitcher. ERA is up around 4 on the season, so she has had some trouble just getting outs. And for a Michigan team that struggled to score runs, only averaging 3.5, a little over 3.5 on this year. This is something that you got to be looking to get to her early and not let her get in a groove. And
we have the battle of the 2 Laurens in this one between pitching. We got on Michigan, obviously, Lauren Durkowski, and then for Illinois, Lauren Wiles stepping into the circle at the moment to lead off the bottom of the first. And not only do they both share a first name, they're both right-handed pitchers and they're both sophomores. So a lot of similarities between the 2 Game 3 pitchers in this weekend series. Sealer steps into the box, leading off for the Wolverines. So we got the windup and the throw. This one's going to be fast and low for ball 1. Ellie Sealer, the sophomore, with a .322 average.
And the top of this Michigan lineup with 3 lefties that get on base a lot and really set the table for the meat of the order.
We get some hard hit contact, fortunately for the Wolverines, right to Ward at shortstop. Makes a grab in the air for the first out of the bottom of the first.
Yeah, that's just a little unlucky for Ellie Sealer, as, like you said, Adam, very hard contact, just hit it right at shortstop Megan Ward.
Lexi Blair, center fielder, number 2 batter, makes contact, liner down the third base line, scooped up off the bag. Let's see, she will be out by the tag, not on the first base, but Rommel throws it a little bit off center to Mallett, who catches it and applies the tag for the second out.
Yeah, that's a real heads-up play from Sydney Mallett, the Illini's first baseman, as that throw is up the line. Can cause some collisions, but a nice play.
So 2 quick outs for the Wolverines on 2 pitches, both hard hit, as we finally get a ball thrown in for a strike looking. 2 outs here in Ann Arbor. Wiles looks down at her wrist, rocks back and throws, chips it up in the air, and it goes foul for strike 2. Matala up for the Wolverines. 258 average on this season. Played in all 33 games and has started in all 33 games. Only 1 of 2 players on the Wolverines to do that, along with Kiki Thole coming up next. 0-2 count. Rock back in the throw. Going to be low and skips right ahead of the plate for ball 1.
And Ellie Mataya, one of the Wolverines' most patient hitters, drawing 14 walks on the season. So, she has the acumen to battle back in this count, even though she went down 0-2.
And here's the rock back and the throw. Almost identical pitch. Skips on into the catcher for ball 2, so it evens up the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Wolverines still looking for their first base runner this game.
Yeah, and some hard contact against Lauren Wiles so far for the Wolverines, but nothing's come of it as of yet.
2-2, here's the pitch. Change up, and that's a pop fly to right. Getting under it, making the catch is Davis, and that'll do it. 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no runners left on base. See Wolverines return to the dugout and prepare for the second inning.
Yeah, and I liked the approach there from the Wolverines early. They were aggressive early in counts, and they generated some hard contact. This is unfortunately the Illini defense was able to be in the right place and make the plays. I mean, especially on that ground ball up the third base line, Delaney Rumel made a real nice backhanded stab, and then like we said, a great play from Sydney Mallett as the throw led her up the line and was able to tag or receive the throw and tag the runner all in one motion. Just real impressive.
It's very
there.
tricky, and you have to be heads up as a first baseman to do that. I guess the one upside is the throw was errant to the left, so kind of led them into the tag. If it was the other way around, Michigan likely would have had its first base runner.
Yes, definitely, Adam.
So now coming out, second inning, we got Durkowski. 1 walk given up, but no hits or any other base runners besides the 1 walk. And that'll do it for the warm-up. Infield coming to the circle, getting ready. And for Illinois, we have number 31 stepping up to the plate. Oh, pardon me. I think I misread it. 23, Sydney Mallett, who got that great play that we were just talking about in between the innings. No outs here. First pitch, fastball down the middle, swing and a miss, strike 1. Freshman has a .284 batting average on this short season so far. I don't know if it's actually short. I've been saying that for a little bit, but the season's already a month and a half in. Pitch 2 is going to be a ball just barely outside.
Yeah, and with Illinois having played 39 games up to this point, they've definitely got some experience under their belt.
Yeah, certainly. Always fun early in the season where these teams get to play in tournaments across the country. As we get a pitch and we get a deep fly ball into right, tracking it, and it is gone. We have a home run from the freshman, breaking this tie early, and that will be the 3rd home run of the season and the 14th RBI as Michigan falls behind 1-0 early in this game.
Yeah, and just a good approach there from Sydney Mallett as she just went with that pitch. Pitch was outside. She just stayed right on it and took it to right field and was able to just creep it over that buddy sign out in right field to give the Illini their first lead of the game.
Yeah, and first hit for that matter, too. And it looked like that Michigan might be able to track it down. Matala went under it, but it just kept sailing. Wind is blowing towards outfield, too. Something to note that probably helped that a little bit, especially towards right where that ball was hit. So we got Ward stepping in, made the heads-up play at short in the first inning, now looking to follow up from the home run from Mallett.
An interesting note, Ward, one of 5 players that's played and started all 39 games for the Illini.
We get a soft grounder to second, scoops it up as Langford flips it over to Livingston. That'll be out number 1, bouncing back from that home run.
Yeah, and both teams early have been aggressive early in the count, both not trying to let the pitcher get them into 2-strike counts, going after early pitches, and so far the Illini have reaped the benefits with that Sidney Mallett solo shot.
With 1 out, we got Davis stepping in. Davis has a .235 average for the senior. Played in 36 games, starting 22 of them. 0-1 count, rocking back and throwing with some speed, swing and a miss. Strike 2. It looks like it may have tipped off the bat just barely, but caught by Michigan's catcher. Going to bring up a 0-2 count regardless of 1 out. Davis steps out for a moment. Shows bunt, pulls back in the throw, fouled back to stay alive. Going to remain 0-2 with 1 out.
Yeah, an interesting approach from Davis there. Not something you see very often, hitter feigning at a bunt on an 0-2 count.
Yeah,
But
you see it often, especially for right-handed players in softball, with very little intention to lay down a bunt. As we see it again, another bunt shown and then pulling back to let the ball sail high for ball 1. So 1-2 count with 1 out. Dragowski looking to get out of this batter for the second strikeout potentially. Change up, strike 3. Looking, and that will send Davis back to the dugout for the second out of the second inning. So after giving up the home run to the opening batter of the second, able to get under control and get a strikeout, second strikeout of the game. We get a nice pitch and a little bit of a delayed call, but it goes for a strike on the changeup. Burkmeyer, the sophomore, stepping in, playing catcher on the Jumbotron. She's listed as utility. To be intrigued in. And we got a rip into left center, and that'll drop. And she'll be rounding 2. Here's the throw. It's going to be close, and she'll slide in safely. As we had the second hit of the game, Sealer fumbled it for a moment on the transition, and that was enough to give her enough time to round for Burkmeyer to get an extra bagger.
Yeah, Burkmeyer really heads up there. I mean, able to see that, right? See Sailor fumbling with the ball a little bit in left field as she makes the turn, and heads up, getting to second base on that.
Avila steps in now, the 9-hitter, and a little bit of movement on the base path from Burkmeyer. No stolen bases recorded so far this season, but only 3 runs scored on 12 hits, so not a ton of opportunities on the base path. Michigan with 2 outs here, looking to get out with only 1 run down. We get a called strike there to make it 1-1. More movement after the pitch on the base path, but returning back to second is Burkmeyer. 1-1 count, 2 outs, runner on second on this beautiful Ann Arbor day. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be low and a little bit away for ball 2. You can really feel the tension and excitement on this Easter Sunday. Crowd in the dugout trying to provide some support to the Wolverine pitcher and battle a little bit here. And we get a pitch for a called strike, another delayed call, but that'll do it right down the middle to Avila, and that'll make it 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the second inning with a runner on second, go figure. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be tipped and barely in play, and makes the grab and throws it down the first base line is the catcher. Katakaburu throws to Livingston for the 3rd out, Michigan gets out relatively unscathed. 1 run surrendered on the home run off of 2 hits, and 1 runner left on base with 0 errors. So not ideal to give up that run, obviously, but considering the 2 hits and considering that the home run was on the first batter, Michigan got under control, which is the key thing.
Yeah, Durkowski limited the damage, which is definitely what you like to see out of her. Didn't really seem too phased. Went right after those hitters, even after the home run given up to Mallet. So very good inning there from Durkowski to recover. But you got to think if you're the Wolverines, you got to be looking to put some runs on the board because, like we said, this offense has struggled at times, and if the Illini tack on a couple more, maybe a little bit too much to overcome for the Wolverines.
Yeah. So in between the middle of the second, the Wolverines have their work cut out. They went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. Kiki Thole coming up. Designated player in this one, along with Eli Mataya, one of 2 players to play in and start all 33 games.
Yeah, and Kiki, one of the big power hitters in this Michigan lineup with 7 home runs on the year and a .511 slugging. So she'd be looking for a pitch she can drive. As you said, Adam, breeze has died down a little bit, but still slightly blowing out.
Yeah, and we appreciate everyone spending their Easter Sunday tuning into us. We know this game is on the main BTN channel, so a lot of options to view this, so we appreciate you supporting student radio this afternoon. Wind up in the pitch, and that's going to be fast, but outside for ball 1. Steps back in, looking to get Michigan's first hit of this game. Wind up in the throw from Wiles. Another low ball, 2-0 count to lead off this bottom of the second. So 2 balls, no strikes, no outs. Rocking back, leaning forward, wind up in the throw. Identical pitch to the last 2. All 3 of them for called balls.
Yeah.
So 3-0 count. Michigan looking for its first base runner of the game in the bottom of the second here. Will take it any way they can. The first inning, they had their bat swinging and were making decent contact, just unable to break through. To get the wind up in the throw, and that's going to be a called strike, and she knew it too.
Mm-hmm.
So going to be a 3-1 count.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those ones taken all the way. Early in this game, you just want to be getting base runners, starting to put some pressure on Lauren Wiles.
Wind up in the throw, and that's going to be ball 4. Identical spot to the first 3. Seems like Wiles is really trying to paint the bottom corner of the zone and has struggled so far this inning, giving up Michigan first base runner as Thole takes first base.
Yeah. And Wiles will walk some people, as she does have 23 walks and 49 innings on the year. So we'll see if this Michigan approach kind of changes as the game goes on, as she throws more pitches. And it looks like we'll have a pinch runner at first base, too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Thole is not known for her base running ability. No stolen bases yet this season, normally catching, so makes sense to make that substitution, especially down 1. Livingston steps in. The right-hander comes to swing and fouls off the first pitch down the third base line. 0-1 count.
And Livingston, kind of a unique case in her second year as a grad student after she transferred from Penn State here for the Wolverines.
Rock back in the throw, and this contact's made to left field, and getting right under it is Mead. And that will be a first out of this inning. It was a frozen rope. It looked like it might drop, but in the perfect positioning, barely had a step forward, Meade makes the grab.
And Michigan's, like we've been saying, Adam, making a lot of loud contact early, just not translating to hits on the scoreboard.
And that sends Ramey back to first. No movement on the base path with one out here. Langford steps in, second baseman. The lefty has a little bit of a run-up, checks the swing, and sends it foul down by the Illinois dugout. Wind has died down completely in Ann Arbor here, and the temperature keeps rising, 58 degrees, and increasing as the afternoon goes on. 0-1 count, one out. Bunt shown, pulls back, and we had some movement on the base path, but diving in safely for Ramey. Back into first with the pickoff attempt straight from the catcher.
Yeah, Berkmeyer tried to catch Maddie Ramsey, the pitch runner, napping there. She kind of got caught leaning a little bit.
1-1 count with one out. Here's the throw. A little bit of a check swing, sends it down the third base line for a bang-bang play. Advances the runner, but she'll be thrown out at first. So 2 outs, runner on second. Langford returns to the dugout as Ramey goes to second. Michigan down by 1 after that top of the second inning. Looking to even things up here, potentially even take the lead. Karakaburu comes on in. The catcher, batting 154 this season. Get a slow changeup right down the middle. Left her puzzled on that one. She quickly falls behind 0-1 with 2 outs now. Oh, 1 count. Rock back in the throw. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Got in for the fences. Unable to connect.
And that was another pitch low and away to the righty. Wiles has been living down there so far today.
Yeah, struggled with the first batter, walking on 5 pitches, but finally finding the zone. Just as I said that, a ball low in that same exact spot. So maybe not all the kinks worked out on that one. So we got ball 1, 2 strikes, and 2 outs with the runner on second. Michigan down by 1. Rock back in the throw. And we have a little bit of movement on the base path. Doesn't go anywhere. So we get 2 balls and 2 strikes now.
Yeah, it looks like freshman Maddie Ramey is looking to get active on the base paths, kind of cause some chaos.
Certainly. So 2-2, here's the windup. Fouled back to stay alive. Junior lives to fight another day. On the rubber, looking at her wrist, is Wiles trying to get out of this inning without surrendering a hit or a run. Here's a pitch and a deep fly into right. Circling under it and making the grab is Davis. And that'll do it here from the second inning. We had no runs, no hits, 1 runner left on base, and no errors as we go into the top of the third. Michigan still trails by 1 against a Fighting Illini.
Yeah, some more good swings in this inning, but just unable to find green grass if you're the Wolverines, which has got to be getting a little bit frustrating because this series has been somewhat of an offensive struggle. Only 3 runs scored through 2 games, and you gotta start wondering if you're the Wolverines if it's just not your day. But
Yeah.
They've been putting good swings on, so I think if they can just continue to have that same approach, those will start to drop.
Recap is of the series. We had a 3-0 shutout from Illinois on Friday. Saturday, Michigan put up 3 runs of their own, but surrendering 2 in the process to take the win and even it up at 1 apiece in the series. Winner today will take home the series dub. Michigan is 4-4 in Big Ten play. Illinois 2-7. So both teams could use a win here, could use a series win as well. The Wolverines coming off a little bit of a rocky start of the year with the new coach and some new talent. They won the series in Lincoln last weekend, but struggled in Columbus. They had 2 games postponed due to high wind. Won 1 in 5 innings, or 10 innings rather, then lost a second one in 5. Got mercied there. And then lost the final game. That was their first loss, series loss against Ohio State in quite a while. So you have the top of the third. Drukowski comes out, faces Meade, the leadoff batter here to lead off the 3rd inning. Illinois with a 1-0 lead as they try to build on that. The next pitch is in for a high ball, 2-0 count for Stevie Meade.
And Meade, one of the best hitters for this Illini lineup. Don't want to let her get in a favorable count.
Certainly, she's able to find the hits, 39 hits on the season, bringing her up to a .342 average, 2nd among all the starters. So we get a called strike, making the count 2-1. Rock back and the throw. It's going to be a close one and a called strike. A little bit of a delayed call right there. Evens it up at 2 apiece with no outs here in the top of the 3rd for the leadoff batter.
Yeah, good job from Drukowski battling back in this count, evening it up at 2-2.
Wind up and the throw, swing and a miss, strike 3. Ring him up and go back to the dugout. Drukowski is locked in. That'll be the 3rd strikeout of this game. Avery Steiner steps in. Walked in the 2nd inning to take first and eventually advance to 2nd before being stranded there and makes contact on the first pitch to deep center. Getting under it is Blair, makes a grab. Lexi Blair sends the Illini batter straight back to the dugout after 1 swing.
Yeah, as you can see, Blair kind of fighting off the sun in center field there, able to make a nice catch based on her positioning.
Kelly Rayono steps in. Swing and a miss for strike 1. That pitch had a ton of velocity. Michigan's catcher couldn't even hang on to it. 0-1 count with 2 outs here. This top of the 3rd is flying by after the top of the 2nd dragged on a bit. The Wolverines with the home run and the hit. Pitch is in, and it's going to be a called strike low and inside, barely finding that corner. Senior Rayono leads the team in batting average with .366. Wind up and the throw on the riser. That's going to be a ball. Looked awfully good from up here. Just barely missed. 1-2 count with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd.
Yeah, it looked good to that Michigan infield, too, as a couple of them took a few steps towards that dugout.
I think part of that's just psychologically supporting your pitcher, too, even when it doesn't land. Here it is. Contact made. Sends it towering to the warning track. Getting under it and making the grab is Sealer. If the wind were a bit more favorable, that could have been gone, but fortunately for the Wolverines, Sealer makes it with a hand against the back wall. 3rd out of this top of the 3rd inning, sending Michigan back to the dugout as they prepare to get their batting helmets and bat.
Yeah, you could definitely see Drukowski start to get in a rhythm in that 3rd inning. as she mowed down the first hitter, and then some solid contact from the Illini at the top of the order, but still manageable for that Wolverines defense to give the Wolverines a chance to tie this game up.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone spending their Easter Sunday with us on WCBN as Michigan looks to take home this series win against the Illini. Would be the second straight Big Ten series Michigan could claim. Michigan was supposed to have a game this past week in East Lansing against the Spartans, and it was canceled due to a tornado. Those in Ann Arbor might remember the tornado watch we had on Wednesday. It was postponed to this next week on April 12th. I believe WCBN will be sending some coverage to that in East Lansing. Following that, Michigan goes on the road to West Lafayette and then returns home for a weekday game against Michigan State on April 18th. And then we get a series at home against the Big Ten leading Northwestern Wildcats following this on the 21st through the 23rd. Big weekend there. It's the Title IX celebration, and they will officially dedicate the new name of this stadium to honor the longtime coach who retired last spring, Coach Hutchins. So as we go into the bottom of the third, Michigan still trailing by 1. McVeigh up. The 8th hitter and the sophomore shortstop, batting .258. Yet to hit a home run this season, but has 16 hits. In fact, no extra base hits at all. They've all been singles, it looks like. 0-1 count. We get a ball low, 1-1. Same exact spot that Wiles has been trying to paint all afternoon. Misses right there.
Yeah, and McVeigh, a slap hitter, as we see the infield kind of both corners in.
Wind up in the pitch, and that's going to be high for ball 2. 2-1 count. All of these balls are not missing by much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ump is calling a tight strike zone. Stacy Newton behind the plate, keeping it close and making these pitchers really have to come at these batters.
2-1 count. Rock back. Wind up in the throw. Shallow contact down the third baseline and foul. As you said, slap hitter. We saw a slap hit right there. Yet to get an extra base hit this season, but does have 2 RBIs. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. McVeigh looking to tie up this game. And there's a pitch. It's going to be inside, making the count full, awfully close, but just barely missed. I feel like that's the story of Wiles' outing so far today. Wiles has a 5-5 records and a 4.06 ERA, but she's looking stellar so far.
Mm-hmm. And the defense behind her has really helped her out a lot today.
Full count, wind up, payoff pitch, fouled back, staying alive.
Yeah, kind of a check swing there from McVeigh, just fighting that one off, doing a nice job of getting to see another pitch and hopefully get on base to start off the bottom of the third for the Wolverines.
So full count still after fouling that one back off the check swing. The 8-hitter McVeigh trying to crack open this game with no outs here and lines it right up the middle, and that'll be a single. Wonder if they'll rule it an error or not. It skipped off Ward's glove for the shortstop. If it were me, I'd probably say a hit, but we'll keep you updated on that. Regardless of how it's scored, McVeigh will take first base. And let's see, I think it's going to be a hit. Yes, it will be. So single to left center is the official ruling.
Yeah.
And Michigan has its first actual hit of the game.
Yeah, and that's a play if you're Ward. It's a slap hitter. You know you got to hurry. So it's kind of took her eye off it real quickly there.
We got a called strike down the middle for Audrey LeClaire. 9-hitter, batting .218. Starting quite a bit of games this season, 29 out of the 33. Keep an eye on the base runners. We get the wind up and the pitch fouled back for strike 2. McVeigh has 2 stolen bases and a third attempt that she was caught. She seems a little bit eager to move into scoring position with no outs here as LeClaire goes over to talk to the head coach down the third base line.
Yeah, Bonnie Toll probably just wants to ease her nerves a little bit, kind of discuss maybe putting on like a little hit and run action, just try to get something going offensively for the Wolverines to set it up for the top of the order.
Yeah. Toll, the longtime assistant, taking over after, as we said earlier, Coach Hutchins had her famed retirement. The winningest coach in college softball set that distinction last year in a road series against Duke. We get a fastball and a swing and a miss for LeClaire. 1 out, sending her back to the dugout as we bring up the top of the order here in the bottom of the third. Ellie Sealer steps on in for the second time this afternoon. Sealer had a line out right to the shortstop, had a ton of pop to it, but just right place, right time in the top of the first. Grounder to first, not looking to turn 2, just scoops it up. And it looks like it'll be a foul ball, I believe is a ruling.
Yeah, I think that one, Sealer might have fouled that off her foot. Kind of deceptive with how that went straight to the first baseman.
Yeah, usually you don't see it if it hits off the batter. So we got some signs from head coach Toll. Steps on in, wonder if it might be a hit and run. This would be it. We got a fast base runner and a good contact hitter at the plate. It's going to be a ball a little bit low and away. 1-1 count with 1 out. And number 1, Ellie Sealer, up at the plate.
That's a fun little scoreboard image.
Yeah, you got all the ones lined on up, and Michigan trailing 1-0. Swing, and that's going to be fouled back into the stands, right by where a couple of Illini faithful are sitting. Not a ton made the trip out, a little bit far from Champaign-Urbana, but a couple dozen. You see in softball, the fans travel, which you'd love to see even across the Big Ten. When Nebraska plays here, you see fans come on out. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be fouled on back. Staying alive, 1-2 count for the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, and Sealer not one that gets struck out a lot. Only 13 strikeouts on the year through 87 at bats.
Exactly, and a .318 average with only 1 home run, but a solid amount of RBIs. As we get the windup in the pitch, liner right to second. It's going to be close, and that's going to be it. Safe! My goodness! Wow, applied the tag to the base runner, threw it over to first with plenty of time, and Mallet just couldn't hang on and dropped it. And what looked like an easy double play, Michigan has some life.
Yeah, and a nice heads-up play there from the second baseman, Avery Steiner, as she saw the runner bearing down at her, quickly tagged her, and it looked like as you said, Adam, it would be an easy double play, but not to be. Wolverines stay alive.
So 2 outs now with the runner on first. Gets away from the catcher, a little bit of a delayed jump there, and Sealer will take second, putting Michigan in scoring position with Blair up to the plate. And gonna have a quick mound visit here. So far, Lauren Wiles has looked very good. That last play, I'm gonna see what they rule it as. They're gonna say a fielder's choice and not an error. I guess when you get the out, it's tough to make that call for an error. But
yeah, definitely a play that the Illini would like to have back, though.
Oh, certainly. To go back into the dugout and bring up your batters into the fourth inning with a 1-0 lead. You just leave this door open for the Wolverines to potentially make some waves of their own.
Yeah, and especially after one pitch in the dirt, Sealer takes second, and now Wolverines got a runner in scoring position, 2 outs.
Wind is starting to pick up. It's blowing from the outfield in, something to keep in mind. You got a towering American flagpole in between the baseball diamond and the softball diamond here at the Will Pond Complex. I wonder if they're going to put up a new sign when they officially dedicate the new field name. Currently says Alumni Field over the Jumbotron. Here's a windup in the pitch. That's going to be made contact but foul down the third base line. That would be the type of play that would score a run from second. Blue pitch, shallow outfield, just a tad bit too late. And it sends it foul down the third base line for the left-hander.
And you got to think Sealer is thinking go on contact.
Just try it. Most certainly.
Yeah, trying to scratch a run across here for the Wolverines.
1-1 count with 2 outs. And that was awfully close. It bounced ahead of the plate, so that'll be ball 2. And Sealer was moving on the pitch, but it almost bounced, fortunately, where the catcher could pick it up if needed and throw to third. So Sealer wisely hangs on back at second. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Michigan playing with some borrowed time after that fielder's choice earlier. Wind up and the pitch. And that's going to be ball 3, low. These balls aren't missing much.
Yeah, good job of being patient, though, by Blair. Making Wiles come to her and give her a pitch that she can drive.
Blair had a ground out to third. She hits it right up the middle, and that'll get into the outfield. Rounding third is Sealer. Safe at home, going to second. Blair, and Michigan has tied this up with 2 outs. And Illinois and their fans and their players must be quite disappointed. They were out of this inning, and the error by the first baseman, guess it wasn't ruled an error, but the drop play by the first baseman gives Michigan life and the opportunity to tie this one up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, and a nice heads-up play there by Lexi Blair. That throw came in from a Yazzie Avila in center field. Came straight to home, and Lexi Blair heads up, took second with ease as it missed cutoff man. So Wolverines with another runner in scoring position.
Yeah, just run it back right now. And Blair is honestly probably even better of a base runner than Sealer. 7 stolen bases on the season, has yet to be caught. 15 runs. Here we go. Looks like we're going to have a substitution for the pitcher. And it's going to be Sydney Sickles. Not a tight leash. Gave up 1 run, and honestly an inning that she should have been gone out of, and quick to make the substitution.
Yeah, and you saw it even with the mound visit before the Blair single to score the run. It seemed like the Illinois coaching staff definitely was going to be quick on that trigger to get Wiles out of the game.
Certainly. So at this moment, Wiles leaves without a chance for a win or a loss. Actually, I guess possibly a loss because the runner on second could be credited to her. So 2 outs. Mattia steps on in, grad student. There's a throw, and it's going to be high for ball 1. First pitch from Sickles. Sydney Sickles, senior, right-handed pitcher. Wind up in the throw, fouled back, another high pitch. kind of the opposite from what we saw earlier from Wiles. His love throwing low, at least from the first two. Sickles likes painting the upper part of the strike zone.
Yeah.
Rock back in the throw in the circle, made contact into left, getting under it, and making the grab for the third out is Meade. There you have it. Michigan with one run to tie it up off of one hit and one runner left on base. And Michigan is very fortunate to tie this one up after the gift. There's no other way to say it, a Easter Day gift that they were handed on that usually routine double play.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan won't complain. Good opportunistic work there from the Wolverines, taking advantage of the mistakes. So, a very good inning there for the Wolverines. Obviously, if you're the Illini, you'd like to have it back, as Sidney Mallett, now responsible for, indirectly, I guess, responsible for both runs in the game, as she hit the solo home run, but also dropping that ball indirectly leads to the run for Michigan. So it's a whole new ball game as we enter this top of the fourth. And you'll see Lauren Durkowski return to the mound as she eases into her fourth inning of work.
Very interesting contrast between Durkowski and Wiles. Both named Lauren, both sophomore pitchers, both right-handed as well. But Durkowski gives up one run and two hits, and she's coming out for the fourth. Wiles gives up one run and two hits, and she has a very tight leash and got the pull going back to the dugout. So we enter the fourth inning. I'm going to step to color commentary, and Stevie will take on play-by-play as Michigan remains tied with the Illinois Fighting Illini at one apiece.
Yeah, and it'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters coming up for the Illini. We got Rommel, Mallett, and Ward coming up. And it looks like we have a little bit of a delay. Our first base umpire, Christina Drum, signaling to somebody. I'm not exactly sure what's going on.
This game is on BTN, the main network, not the BTN Plus streaming. I wonder if they might have a commercial delay there. Not something you see too often in college softball, but on occasion.
Yeah, and now we're ready for play as Rummel steps in, bats from the right side against the righty Durkowski. First offering. That one's a bit outside for ball one. As we see Durkowski working quickly. As second pitch popped up. That one just behind second base as Lexi Blair calls off shortstop Ellen McVeigh to make the catch to retire the first batter for the Illini.
So one swing and one out right there. So you got Mallett hitting the lone run of this game for the Illini earlier.
Yeah, as we see an off-speed pitch in there. Nice pitch there from Durkowski. Finds the outside corner to make it 0-1. As we see the Wolverine outfield kind of shifting towards right center. Lexi Blair lines up to the left, the right of the 222 sign out in dead center. As we see the second pitch from Durkowski outside for a ball to bring the count to 1-1.
Very cautious after last at bat.
Ooh, as we see an off-speed pitch that Mallett gets and drives past the dive of first baseman Melina Livingston, as that will lead to the first base runner of the inning for the Illini, and more problems with Sidney Mallett for Durkowski.
Both pulled right down the line first base line. One was over the fence and one was past the diving Livingston.
Yes, now Megan Ward steps in for the Illini. Michigan bringing the corners in here, expecting some slap. Audrey Leclerc playing a couple steps in front of the third base, and Melina Livingston shading a few steps in from first base as well.
One out base runner, very dangerous for the Wolverines. Just barely tied it up last inning and already barking to potentially give up that lead.
As we see a ground ball to second base, steps on the base for one, and over to Livingston at first. That's a double play, and that will do it in the fourth inning, for the Wolverines. Great play there by Indiana Langford.
And that was quite impressive, too, because Mallett was, moving right after contact. So not a ton of time to touch second, but perfectly positioned for Langford to flip it on over. And Michigan escapes without any damage. Yeah,
Langford had her played right up the middle, and that ball was just hit right at her. It's kind of one of those right place, right time, and Langford able to make the great play and get the Wolverines out before any danger comes of the Illini threat.
Certainly. So Michigan already back to grabbing the helmets and bats. And we have same pitcher sticking with it that we saw last inning. Sydney Sickles came in for the final out after Michigan tied it up.
Yeah, and Sydney Sickles been one of the workhorses for the Illini on the season. 114 innings and a 2.82 ERA. She has given up a decent amount of long balls. It's interesting to note, Adam, you mentioned in the previous inning that she works up a little more up in the zone, and I think that's kind of led to that a little more higher strikeout number and more long balls. So we'll see if the Wolverines can get their power swings ready for this inning.
Yeah, this team honestly doesn't have a ton of power as we've seen in years past. I'm looking at the box score, and it looks like Kiki Toll is the only power threat really on the team. I guess Audrey Leclerc has 2 home runs, but Toll blows it out of the water with 7. And the rest of the lineup has only 1 home run on the season or none.
Yeah.
We have 6 players in the starting lineup without a home run yet this year. And again, it's only a month and a half in, but compare that to Illinois, a stronger power-hitting team, you see it spread out a lot more.
Yeah. And speaking of Kiki Toll, the Wolverines' premier power threat, she will lead off this bottom of the 4th inning as the Illini break the huddle behind the pitching circle, and we are ready for play. So it'll be Kiki Toll, followed by Melina Livingston and Indiana Langford, the 2 that combined on that double play. It'll be righty on righty here as Toll steps into the box. Gets the sign and the pitch. A little low from Sickles there. Ball 1.
Crowd is out in force now, standing around on this beautiful day, even filling much of the outfield grandstand.
And there we see second offering from Sickles finds the outside corner for strike 1. 1-1 count here in this bottom of the 4th inning. And Sickles will work through the 4, 5, 6 hitters as we see a swing and a foul ball from Toll as she was on that low off-speed pitch. But just a little bit out in front and pulled it well foul. That makes the count 1-2. And Toll not really a strikeout victim very often, so she looks to stay alive as that pitch is well upstairs, up and over her head. And that makes the count 2-2 here. As Toll digs in, Sickles and catcher Burkmeyer get the sign from the dugout. She's ready. Here's the pitch, and that pitch is just outside. As you were saying, had home plate umpire Stacy Newton with a little bit of a tight strike zone, and there we see it again as the count runs full to 3-2 now. And Sickles ready with the pitch, and that one is low and away. Lost Toll after the 1-2 count, and Toll will draw her second walk of the day. It'll be interesting to see if we see what we saw in the first inning with another pinch runner.
Certainly, and very similar too with how the runners advance with the walk.
And it looks like Toll will stay out there on the base paths as Melina Livingston digs in. That first pitch upstairs from Sickle. And Toll, not much of a threat on the base paths. No steals on 0 attempts, so has not been too eager to run when she gets out there. As Sickles winds up the pitch. That one's low and inside. Brings the count to 2-0. So nice hitters count here for Melina Livingston.
Yeah, after the walk last batter and then now a 2-0 now. Got to be nervous in this precarious game. We saw yesterday's game was decided by only 1 run, and it looks like this one's going to be very similar so far.
Yeah, as Berkmeyer went out to have a little conversation with Sickles. And looks like we're now back and ready for play. Kind of just trying to calm down her pitcher after 5 straight balls. So Livingston digs in as Sickles is ready, brings the pitch, and good swing on that one as she lines that one hard foul down the third baseline.
Yeah, right at the coach almost. Had her jump back, and it actually found its way into the dugout by the BTN cameras.
Yeah, it's giving everybody down there a little bit of a wake-up call. Sickles with the pitch, and that one's upstairs for ball 3. And Livingston has worked the count here to 3-1.
And the 1 strike was a foul ball, too, with some pop to it. Looking awfully good for the Wolverines with no outs.
And the 3-1 is in there for strike 2. Kind of looked like Livingston was taking there, kind of just seeing if Sickles could get one over, making her come at Livingston instead of giving her kind of a cheap opportunity. And the 3-2, and swung on and missed as Livingston is retired. Sickles with her first strikeout of the game. And now 1 down here for the Wolverines. And that brings Indiana Langford, the pseudo-hero of last inning, as she started that double play that got the Wolverines out.
Huge.
The first pitch, low and away for ball 1. It's interesting. Sickles on the year, even though she struggled with control over these first 2 batters, not somebody that's walked, given up a lot of walks, only 27 through 114 innings. Sickles comes home with the 1-0. That one's outside as well. Runs the count to 2-0. So it's gone to at least 2 balls on all 3 of these hitters so far as we get the 2-0 swung on and missed as Langford was looking for a juicy fastball there, but unable to connect on it. And that brings the count to 2-1. As 2-1, another one upstairs. Langford having a little trouble laying off those high pitches as she runs the count to 2-2 now.
Michigan, especially since Sickles came in to pitch and is throwing high and fast, they're way too eager to swing.
Yeah, there's another high fastball there as Langford able to lay off and run the count full to 3-2. So full count as Sickles and Berkmeyer look in as that one is fouled away right at that Indiana dugout. And we'll do it again with another 3-2 pitch.
They're making the most of their opportunities. Michigan's working the count full all game, all afternoon now.
Yeah, that's now a full count to all three batters so far as the 3-2, and that one is slapped foul. So yeah, doing a really nice job so far in this inning of making Sickles work, not really giving her anything easy. I mean, of course, some of that has been Sickles' own doing. But the Wolverines like to get some more traffic on the base paths and kind of have that start leading to some runs as the 3-2 is brought in, and that one is, again, fouled right at that Illinois dugout. So Langford doing a good job of wasting these pitches here against Sickles. Hoping that she can she'll leave one out over the plate that Langford can drive.
Yeah, exactly. Langford with 1 home run this season.
As we see the 3-2, feel like a broken record, repeating myself. Another foul ball right at that Illinois dugout, excuse me.
Yeah, staying alive here with 1 out and 1 runner on.
And see Sickles ready, brings home the 3-2 as that one is chopped to third, and the only play is at first, and Livingston will get to second, and Langford is ruled safe at first base. It's a nice job of legging that one out as a throw from third baseman Rummel, unable to get the speedy Langford.
It was a bang-bang play, but fortunately for the Wolverines, the foot touched the bag before the ball came into the glove. And Michigan, with 1 out, puts a second base runner on and 1 in scoring position. This is the biggest opportunity to break this game open and take the lead for the Wolverines they've seen all day.
Yeah, most base runners they've had all day. And it looks like we'll see a pinch hitter as Maddie Erickson will step into the box for Riley Karakaburu, as I think the Wolverines kind of sense that this is their best opportunity in the game thus far. So wanna have a threat out there. As see Sickles with the first pitch, swung on and missed, as Erickson looking for something upstairs. Erickson bats .264 on the year with a .368 slugging. So one of the better bench bats here for the Wolverines.
And we talked about Michigan's struggle with the deep ball. Erickson has 2 home runs this season.
Yeah, definitely much more of a power threat than most of this Wolverines lineup. As you see the 0-1 sail high for a ball, bringing the count to 1-1. Now Sickles leans in, and that pitch is swung on and missed, as that makes the count 1-2. So Erickson, a freshman, looking to get a big hit here for the Wolverines to kind of swing the balance of this entire series, it seems like. You see the 1-2, swung on and missed. That pitch up and real high upstairs as Erickson is retired. And that'll bring Ella McVeigh to the plate. See if she can't do something with 2 outs and 2 runners on.
That's where Sickles has been eating all afternoon, throwing high and fast, and caught Michigan trying to bite off more than they could chew on that last one.
As you see McVeigh fanning a bunt as she swings through the first pitch.
McVeigh with a
0-1.
hit in the 3rd inning. Single, which started the rally, which eventually brought in a run.
And if you're the Wolverines, you gotta love the fact that they've gotten a lot more runners on base these last couple innings. As we see McVeigh pull that bunt back, and that pitch just misses from Sickles, so that'll bring the count to 1-1. Now Sickles ready, brings home the 1-1, as we see that one swung on and fouled back by McVeigh. We'll make the count 1-2. As we've seen Sickles work a lot of counts to 2 strikes, as she has retired both batters via the strikeout. But also has not really had the best of control. So a lot of those have been 3-2 counts as well. So you see Sickles bring home the 1-2 as that's over to short and easily retired as the throw over to Mallet at first base is in time, and that'll do it here in the fourth for the Wolverines. 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 batters left on, but no damage for the Wolverines as the score stays 1-1 as we head into the top of the fifth.
That is so difficult to see. Michigan with 2 base runners on, 1 out, and then unable to put up any damage, and especially as we go into this 5th inning in a tight match that we've seen tonight, this afternoon and all weekend. They needed that run. They needed at least something to show for that inning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just comes down to a clutch situation, looking for that clutch hit, but unfortunately for the Wolverines, unable to find it as the 1-1 game heads into the 5th, and it looks like your assessment earlier, Adam, that this would probably be another close 1-run game. It's going to come true. Because offense has been at a premium so far as Durkowski returns to the circle.
I was curious what Michigan would do, and it looks like they're sticking with their ace here into the 5th. I guess only 3 hits given up and 1 run. Even though it's close and the offense isn't given much to work with, the Wolverines are sticking with what they got, at least for now. Let's see, we do have a little bit of movement in the pen. We got number 22, Emerson, is warming up and not throwing quite yet, but at least stretching, so something to keep in mind.
Yeah. It will be the 7, 8, 9 hitters that Durkowski faces as Danielle Davis steps in. First pitch, swung on and fouled between her legs. Makes the count 0-1. And Davis struck out looking in her first appearance. So Durkowski looking for more of the same here. And Durkowski brings the 0-1 home. And that one is a strike on the outside corner. Nice pitch there as she works the count to 0-2. And it seems like Durkowski's kind of settled into a groove, wouldn't you say, Adam?
Yeah, certainly. After giving up that home run in the second, really settled down. Still 3 hits through 4 full is impressive.
Yeah, as that pitch is swung on and missed as Davis is retired on 3 pitches. So good start to this this top of the 5th inning for Durkowski, as that will bring Paige Berkmeyer, the catcher for the Illini, as she doubled in her first plate appearance. So Durkowski looking for a little revenge. So that pitch just misses the corner, and that'll be ball 1. As you see Durkowski working from the right side of the rubber. There we go. There we have strike 1 on an off-speed pitch. Real nice pitch to kind of freeze Berkmeyer there, right at the knees. Outfield plays her to go to the opposite field a little bit, as we see the 1-1 is fouled back. Brings the count to 1-2. If you're Durkowski, you gotta like what we've started off this 5th inning with, as a strikeout and now another 1-2 count. So she seems to really have settled in.
It helps when you have the 7, 8, 9 hitters to face.
That's true. As we see that pitch swung on and missed by Berkmeyer, and that will bring Avila to the plate, as there are 2 outs, 2 gone on 7 pitches for Durkowski. Just nearly missing out on a chance at an immaculate inning.
Very close, at least so far. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
I guess we have another ball right there, so it makes it a little bit less on point. But still, 2 strikeouts in the 5th inning after going 4 innings already is quite impressive.
Yeah. As Drukowski gets ready, brings home the 1-0, and that pitch catches the outside corner, and that evens the count at 1-1. As Drukowski looks for the sign from the dugout. As she brings home, and an off-speed pitch there just misses the outside corner. Drukowski wanted it, but unable to get it. And just notifying you of the defensive change with that pinch hitter with Maddie Erickson coming in to pinch hit. We now have Kiki Thole behind the plate. As Drukowski brings home the 2-1, that one's fouled back. Makes the count 2-2. Drukowski looking to strike out the side here for the Wolverines.
Yeah, already got 2 outs now and 2 strikes. Locked in for the 9-hitter trying to finish the job.
As we see, slapped over to short as the throw on to Livingston is in time. Nice play there by Ella McVeigh as she got the speedy Yazzie Avila. And that will end the top of the 5th for the Illini and bring the Wolverines back up to the plate as they will have 9-1-2 coming up in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, great outing from Drukowski. 5 full with just 1 run and 3 hits. It's now on to Michigan's offense to provide some support. That's where we saw them struggle on the Friday series, holding the Illini to only 3, but putting up nothing in return on offense.
Yeah, you definitely just want to get those bats going, and don't want to let Sydney Sickles kind of get in the groove as we saw her struggle with command last inning. Don't want to let her get it settled in and start working that strikeout stuff that she was been so good at this year.
Most certainly. So we're in the bottom of the 5th coming up shortly. And we have the 9-hitter going to start for the Wolverines. Audrey LeClaire. And then we'll have the top of the lineup with a huge opportunity for the Wolverines.
Yeah. And LeClaire struck out swinging her first at bat. And then she'll look to set the table for the top of this Michigan lineup as they kind of look to get something going.
We see the baseball game has wrapped up from across the diamond. Michigan lost quite badly. Last I checked, it was 11-3. Could get a final score update in a moment. But they staggered the start. That game began at noon, and this game began at 2, so not surprising to see that one finish up quick.
As you see the first pitch from Sickles, low and away to LeClaire. Makes it a 1-0 count.
Yep, final score was 11-3 with Nebraska winning that and taking the series for baseball.
And Sickles brings home the 1-0. That one's outside, 2-0. And some more of the same out of Sickles as there is some action in the Illini bullpen as maybe a little bit concerned about the command issues for Sickles so far. As you see, that 2-0 pitch is swung on, and that one will get up and out of play down the left field line. Nice swing there from LeClaire on the 2-0 pitch. But we'll just make it a 2-1 count. LeClaire, the senior from Phoenix, Arizona, as she waits the 2-1 called strike on the outside corner, brings the count to 2-2. Looking to set the table here for this top of the lineup is LeClaire, as we see a pitch that may have been going for ball 3, but LeClaire fouls it off down the third base line, as we will do it again. 2-2 pitch. I will say the Michigan lineup has done a nice job of making Sickles work here.
Yeah, certainly. She's only been in for an inning and some change.
As we see a hard grounder to short, as that one is easily retired. Nice play there by Megan Ward, throwing it over to Sydney Mallett. Some nice hard contact there from LeClaire, but that might be one of those times where it's just a little too hard, unfortunately.
Yeah, too much. But if that was softer, you could maybe see an infield hit off of that, but not happening on that.
You see Ellie Sealer digging in, and first pitch is just a bit outside, as that will make it 1-0. Sealer lined out in the first and had the fielder's choice and scored the Michigan run in the third inning. She awaits the 1-0, and that one is fouled back up and over the stands behind the Illini dugout, and that will make it 1-1. Sealer batting .315 on the season with a .374 OBP. And that one in there for strike 2, as brings the count to 1-2. Nice pitch there from Sickles, catching that outside corner.
Certainly.
As the 1-2 is brought home, and Sealer fouls that one back, and the count stays at 1-2.
Michigan starting off last inning so strong, struggling now with 1 out and a 1-2 count. Sealer, with Michigan's only run this game, advancing on a fielder's choice and eventually scoring.
As we see, the 1-2 is well upstairs. Sealer looked like she wanted to offer it, but able to hold back, as that will make the count 2-2. As 2-2 is brought home, and that one is popped way up. And that one got into the camera well, it looked like, as Mallett was tracking it, but unable to make the play, as kind of got real close to that dugout, a little unsure of where she was, and it looked like it snuck into that little well.
Yeah, with this game on BTN, we got quite a few cameras around here. We got, I think, 5 or 6 that I could spot.
Yeah, they've been under fire so far today. So you see the 2-2 is fouled off, as we were saying, another hot shot kind of coming at those cameras down in the Michigan dugout. So Sealer doing a nice job of battling in this at bat, really making Sickles work, which has been a theme so far for the Wolverines. It just hasn't led to anything on the any runs, of course, on the offensive end. The 2-2 is brought home, and that one is golfed over to first, as Mallett easily picks that one up and retires it. That will make it 2 down here for the Wolverines in the 5th.
Good adjective there for golf. With the Masters this weekend, I'm sure that's on everyone's mind who follows sports.
Mm-hmm. I'll bring Lexi Belair to the plate as we see the first pitch swung at and flown out to left field, as Meade camps under it and retires it, and that will do it for the Wolverines in the 5th. No runs, or no hits, no runs, no errors, as we'll go to the top of the 6th in a 1-1 ball game.
Yep, a very disappointing opportunity there for the Wolverines in that inning. They been dominant all day, at least since like the third inning, but just leaving opportunities on the table and not, this game's going to come down to the wire and it'll come off the arm of Durkowski, who's back out for another inning. Don't fix what isn't broken is, I think, the mantra with her right now.
Yeah. And she will face the top of the Illini batting order with Meade, Steiner, and Riono coming up. So, yeah, I mean, Durkowski's gotten on a roll. So, I mean, I think, as you said, Adam, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And got to think this is going to come down to one play, one pitch. It's going to be a tight one. So, going to be very important that the Wolverines are on their game here.
Oh, most certainly. One mistake could blow this game. In a 1-1 game and you're in the last 2 innings, you don't want to make any mistake right now because it will be costly. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to Student Radio. We appreciate your support, especially with this game on cable today.
As you see Durkowski bring home the first pitch against Meade for a strike. Nice off-speed pitch down at the knees. Meade's only 2 at-bats were ground out and a strikeout, so looking for more of the same if you're Durkowski. She's ready. She brings home the 0-1. That one bounces in front of home plate. Evens up the count at 1-1.
Leadoff hitter for the Illini stepping in. Not seen much success with a ground out and a strikeout today.
You see that one rides upstairs on Meade. Meade doing a good job of getting on base this season. Has the on-base percentage hovering right around 400. So definitely don't want to let her get on and kind of set the table for the rest of this Illini lineup. As now Durkowski looks down for a sign. Comes set. The 1-1. Or 2-1, excuse me. That one's in there for a strike to even the count at 2-2.
Another late call from the home plate umpire. It was a take it or leave it pitch, and in that instance, it was a take.
Now Durkowski with the 2-2. As that one's upstairs for a ball. That brings the count full now to 3-2. Definitely don't want to walk the leadoff hitter and give the Illini something to rally behind.
Oh, most certainly not.
Durkowski brings home the 3-2. That one swung on and fouled back by Stevie Meade. And we will do it again. As you see, the outfield shades Meade to be slightly behind and a little towards right center. So now Durkowski brings the 3-2 home, and that one is sawed off to third as LeClaire has it over to Livingston at first. And nice play there to retire the leadoff hitter for the Illini.
That'll be the third out, and actually the second time she's ground out to LeClaire in this game.
They'll bring Avery Steiner to the plate as she walked in the first and then flew out in the third. As we see the first pitch swung on and fouled back. And Durkowski's really getting in a groove, as I believe she's retired now 7 straight, if I'm not mistaken. As we see, that one is swung on and lined foul down the third baseline. And quickly now 0-2 against Steiner.
I think the urgency is felt by both teams here. You definitely could feel it from the Wolverines. But I think Illinois also knows that they made their trip out to Ann Arbor.
And we got a called strike 3 there. Great pitch from Durkowski as she finds that outside corner and rings up Steiner looking.
Durkowski, 5 strikeouts this game. In Illinois, they only have 4 more outs in the regular innings. Seeing if we'll go into extras. But not a lot of time left to work.
The first pitch to Kelly Riono is inside for a ball. As Durkowski looks down at her sign, as the 1-0 is swung on and fouled back. Riono with a pop-up in the first and then a fly out to left in the third, has not had much success today, as Durkowski will look to keep applying that pressure to the top of this lineup. As that pitch is swung on and fouled right up above the Michigan dugout, and that brings the count to 1-2.
We've seen the camera well operators be on their toes all day, and it's another chance of that.
As Durkowski is ready, and the 1-2. And,
that looked awfully close.
Just a bit outside. Shortstop Ella McVeigh had taken 6 or 7 steps towards the dugout there.
Yeah.
But count even at 2-2. Durkowski ready. 2-2. And that pitch is low and in, and it hit Riono, unfortunately for the Wolverines. So a little cheap 2-out base runner here for the Illini. And that will bring up Delaney Rummel, the third baseman. And it looks like we'll get a little talk.
I don't think they'll make a change right now. Don't have the head coach on out there.
Yeah.
And no movement from the pen. But we'll see. It's been a great inning with the absence of that one pitch. It looked like it would be 3 up, 3 down with the strikeout mixed in there. But one pitch got away, and now we have a base runner with 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
Yeah. And the meat of this Illini lineup coming up as well. The 4-hitter Delaney Rummel stepping in. Rummel not had a lot of success with a ground out to third in her first at bat, and then a fly out to center in her second at bat. As Durkowski looks in for the sign and brings the first pitch. That one's up and away, and for ball. So kind of just a quick little chat there to kind of ease the nerves and kind of get Durkowski right back on path, as that pitch is just a bit low, an off-speed pitch that didn't quite catch the bottom of the zone. Now, 2-0 count, kind of dangerous against Rummel, who definitely has some pop in that bat with 3 homers on the year. So we see that pitch is swung on and fouled up towards us in the broadcast booth.
It was close for us having to make a play. Don't worry, I was all ready to do it if needed. But,
yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have the accompanying video, so we could have just said we caught that ball, but
we could have.
As the 2-1 brought low and in, that brings the count to 3-1. Favorable hitters count here for Rummel.
So 3-1 with a base runner on from the hit by pitch. Still only 3 hits allowed in 5 2/3 from the starter Durkowski. Really bringing down that ERA, bringing down the whip.
So you see the 3-1 as that pitch is an off-speed pitch that was just sailed up and away on Durkowski, and that walk will move the runner over to second. So it'll be first and second with 2 outs here for Sydney Mallett, who has been the one hitter that Durkowski has not been able to figure out, with obviously that home run in the second and then a single in the fourth.
Not only that, as we get a ball outside, this is probably the last hitter that the Wolverines want stepping up. In a tie game, 2 outs, a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Adam, as Mallett has just been mashing against the Wolverines today. As you see Durkowski, that pitch is up and away, and 2-0 count here for Mallett. As the Wolverines shade her heavily to go to the opposite field, with center fielder Lexi Blair shaded towards right center, and a big gap there in left center. So you see the 2-0 brought home, as that one is in there for a strike. 2-1 the count. Good pitch there from Durkowski, putting one on the corner, so so Mallett wasn't able to really time it up and get a piece of it. As we see that one is swung on and fouled back, so that will be it'll be a 2-2 count here. Good job of battling back from Durkowski.
Most certainly. Illinois bench is getting loud and in this. They sense this is their best opportunity to take the lead.
Durkowski with the 2-2, swung on and missed. Big strikeout there as Mallett goes down swinging, and that will do it in the top half of the 6th, as no hits, no errors, no runs, and two runners left on for the Illini as we move to the bottom of the 6th.
Wolverines are doing what they need to do defensively. Besides that one blast, only giving up 2 other hits, and that was the only run on the home run. But it now comes down to the Wolverine offense. They're into this thanks to a fortunate turn of events on that fielder's choice in the 3rd inning. But now they need to add on to that and start building off of that and get more runs to potentially avoid having to come back up to plate. If they get a run here and then do well on pitching next half inning, that'll be all she wrote for this game and this series and send Illinois back to Champaign.
Yeah, and we got the heart of the order up for the Wolverines, 3, 4, 5 hitters, starting off with Ellie Matea, then Kiki Thole, and Melina Livingston. So you got the hitters up there that you would want, but it'll yet to be seen if the Wolverines can push anything across against Sydney Sickles.
It's going to take some strong effort from the Wolverines. So we get the prime of the Wolverines lineup. That is the one upside. They got the 3, 4, 5 coming on up. Matala steps on up to lead off, and then followed by Toll and Livingston.
So you see Sickles bring the first pitch home, and that one is lined softly, and a nice play out at short by Ward, as Mattia almost snuck that one through into center field, but nice play by Ward, tracking that one the entire way and able to make the nice catch.
From the pop of that, you thought that would land, and that was just huge heads-up play from Ward, tracking it down and getting a jump on it.
As we see a pitch swung on and driven out to left field, and just short of the wall as Kiki Toll gave that one a ride. But right on the warning track, Meade was there to retire that one. And 2 pitches, 2 outs here for the Wolverines, coming out aggressive. But unfortunately for the Wolverines, nothing to show for it.
You love the aggression, and those were good cuts, and you could tell that they're starting to figure out, so to speak, Sickles. But it's not going to be of any help if you can't make anything of it.
As we see Livingston take a pitch there, as that will be strike one here. Livingston, not much luck in her 2 plate appearances. A line out to left and a strikeout in her only 2 at-bats. As we see Sickles bring home the 0-1. That one's swung on and popped foul behind home plate. And that will make the count 0-2. So not the ideal start to the inning, you would say, for the Wolverines. And hopefully for the Wolverines, not the ends to the inning either.
Yeah. And it's tough when you have 2 of your best hitters come up, and that's what they do.
So we see that one is swung on and hammered foul, as that one will bang off the top of the ambulance over in the pavilion to the pavilion in left field. So that will keep the count at 0-2 as Livingston digs back in. As we see the pitch and grounder to second there as Steiner has it, throws it over to Mallet, and that will do it there for the Wolverines in the home half of the 6th. No hits, no errors, no runs, and no runners left. Nice clean inning there, as the Illini will come to bat here in the top half of the 7th.
Yeah, it's coming down to the wire like I anticipated. Both teams want to finish the series with a win. Both teams want to finish the series with the series-wide win, taking home the series. And I am amazed. We got a 7th inning, at least the start of the 7th inning, with starting pitcher Lauren Dierkowski coming on out for another one, and Michigan's riding with her until she breaks down, win or lose.
And she will face an easier part of the lineup as the 6, 7, 8 hitters up here for the Illini.
Dierkowski so far, 6 innings pitched, only 3 hits allowed, 1 run and 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Started a bit slow on the strikeouts, but kind of paradoxically, she's been getting in the groove even more so. And that's going to be huge to see if she could finish this one out. Her ERA has actually dropped in this game despite giving up a run, as a 1.87 ERA at the moment. Entered this game with a 1.91. Looking to add to that with possibly another inning in the circle.
Yeah, and it'll be Megan Ward, the shortstop for the Illini, that digs in first. You see we get a little bit of a delay, but now Megan Ward will dig in. Grounded out to the second baseman and grounded into a double play to the second baseman in her only 2 at-bats. You see that pitch is in there for a strike. Nice start by Dierkowski, finding that outside corner with a fastball. See Ward taking her time as she digs in. Now Dierkowski ready. She brings home the 0-1, as that one is kind of half-heartedly swung at and missed. A nice off-speed pitch there, had Ward fooled. Now Ward will dig back in for the 0-2 pitch as Dierkowski comes set and brings it home, as that one is hot shot and off the glove of McVeigh at shortstop, as a nice piece of hitting there by Ward down 0-2, hit a laser that just kind of Ella McVeigh unable to come up with on our backhand. It looks like we're going to get a pinch hitter here for the Illini, as it looks like we'll get Kaylee Powell stepping in. A senior batting from the left side. He'll take over for Danielle Davis, who struck out in both of her plate appearances. So maybe looking to get a bunt down and get that runner over to second as we see the first pitch in there for a strike.
I think the Illini sense the opportunity here. Tie game, top of the 7th. Potentially your last chance at the plate. See, to make something happen. Makes things up with the pinch hitter.
As we see a bunt attempt there that will go foul. And that will quickly move the count to 0-2 on Kaylee Powell.
Powell on the season batting .211 with 12 hits and 5 runs and 4 RBIs. No movement yet from Ward on the base path.
You see Powell dragging that bunt back and an off-speed pitch that sails low and away. So brings the count to 1-2. And the 1-2 is an off-speed pitch just outside. We heard some cheers from the crowd there.
Head coach wants to talk to the umpire.
Yeah.
Not too happy. Exchange of words right there.
Yeah, Bonnie Toll was none too pleased about that, but Christina Drum, the first base umpire, was quick to usher her back into the dugout. Count even now at 2-2 as Jerkowski brings the 2-2 home, and that one is swung on and fouled back. Stays even at 2-2.
This would be huge to get an out here, especially with the base runner. Makes it so much easier to keep the game in check without giving anything up.
And Jerkowski brings it home. Swung on and fouled back right off the screen. Oddly enough, caught by Kiki Toll at the catcher position. Unfortunately for the Wolverines, does not count as an out, but keeps the count even at 2-2. Now, Jerkowski looking for a sign, has it, and comes home, and that one is swung and fouled again as we see another catch off the screen, this time by LeClaire down at third base.
Good to stay active, keep focused, especially in between pitches like this.
And now Jerkowski ready with her 2-2 pitch. And that is swung on and yet again fouled down that third baseline. So Kaylee Powell coming in, doing a nice job of making Jerkowski work at the very least, as she's fouled off 4 consecutive pitches here. Now Jerkowski looks for a sign. She has it, comes set. The 2-2, and that pitch is again swung on and fouled back. Kaylee Powell just getting little pieces of everything.
Yeah, and this can't be good for Jerkowski. Already pushing it, going 7 here. But now having to work for each and every out.
Yeah, Jerkowski was working efficiently, but I mean, this has been a very long at bat, so not what you like to see, especially late in games. The 2-2 swung on and grounded towards second as we see a nice play there. Ooh, as Langford's throw may have pulled Livingston off the bag. And now Bonnie Toll wants a word with the first base umpire.
See how it went. It was real close, and they're showing the replay on the Jumbotron. And let's see what they say. think it'll stand. So we get another pinch hitter stepping in.
And it looks like we'll have a bit of a conference from the umpires.
Some fans are sharing their opinions on that last call. I'm sure you probably could have heard that through our natural microphone. Yeah, fans are riled up here on Easter Sunday. It's awfully close. I don't think it was clear either way. I think you got to go with the call as stands.
Yeah, so they're showing it up on the Jumbotron out in left field. Not able to get a great view.
Honestly, looking at it more and more, I think it probably upheld
the call. Yeah.
Looks like the runner had it by a step, and we get a pinch runner and a pinch hitter. So coming into the plate is Abby Reineck, and then coming in to run as well, we have another Illini, number 2, Gabby Robles.
As you see, another mound visit here, so we'll have an extended break as just kind of trying to calm Drakowski down, as that one was just a Powell doing a nice job battling and then legging out an infield hit.
And I don't know if this will be it from Drakowski. We saw some warming up in the pen earlier. We saw Emerson Aiken, the sophomore, getting loose. But they're sticking with Drakowski with no outs and 2 on.
Yeah, as Reiniak digs in, she'll look to put the Illini up in this game. As we see a bunt, she squares the bunt, and it's a fair ball. It's kind of died right out in front of home plate, but Reiniak does her job, moves those runners over to second and third. So that one, usually you see bunts go a little bit further than that. That one just kind of died.
That literally hit the right-handed batter's box and just got stuck in the dirt there.
Yeah.
Just didn't move. And Michigan, honestly, did the best they could. They got the out there. Guess maybe if it would have gone a bit more, they could have gone the lead runner, but regardless, still pretty solid.
Yeah. As we see, that one is popped up as Avila popped it up to the third baseman, as that one will be retired by LeClaire, and now we have two down here in the top of the 7th.
That was huge. Just a quick bang-bang play, and you went from no outs with runners on first and second to 2 outs with runners on third and second. So still 2 runners in scoring position, not what you love to see, but just make the out here and get out unscathed.
Yeah, as we see Meade, and it looks like we might get an intentional walk here. It looks like, yes, we will, as they will not let Meade hit, as she is. It looks like they would rather pitch to Steiner instead of Meade, load those bases up, make it a force play everywhere.
Yeah, I don't. Looking at both of these players, they're very comparable. It's a 1 batter versus a 2 batter. That was a bold move, and if it pays off, this will be hailed, but if not, could open up Coach Toll for quite a bit of criticism.
Yeah.
There we go. Bases are full for the first time by either team today.
Yeah. And we'll have Avery Steiner step to the plate. She walked, flew out, and struck out in her 3 plate appearances, as the first pitch is brought in as an off-speed pitch in there for strike 1. As the outfield in a little bit and playing her to go to the opposite field, as the 0-1 is popped up behind, and that one will be retired by Sealer out in left field, as the risk and gamble by Toll pays off, as we will go to the bottom of the 7th with the Wolverines a chance to walk it off. as we had two hits in that inning, no errors and no runs, with 3 runners stranded on base, as the Wolverines will look to walk off this weekend series with a W against the Illini.
That was huge for the Wolverines. Without giving up any runs, giving yourself a chance for a walk-off here in the bottom of the 7th. You need the offense to come alive in a way that we haven't really seen all series and, frankly, all season.
Yeah,
Getting to put up quite a bit of runs.
Yeah, just need to push one across and make it. It would be a real nice ending here, especially after the Illini got their first 2 runners on in that top of the 7th. If the Wolverines could push across a run here, it'll be the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Wolverines, as we have Indiana Langford step into the plate, then followed by Erickson and McVeigh. As we have some discussion going on here before this bottom of the 7th inning begins, as now Langford digs in, as the first pitch from Sickles is a strike, as Langford feigns at the bunt. Here's some chance of go blue going on, trying to motivate and rally this team to walk this off, as the 0-1 pitch is up and away for a ball, brings the count to 1-1. Now Sickles looks down for her sign, comes set, brings home the 1-1, as that one is just outside. Langford pulled the bunt back in time, as that will make it 2-1. The infield anticipating the bunt, all playing pretty shallow, especially Rummel down at third, as she has feigned at bunt twice now. As the 2-1 comes in, that will be a strike, even the count at 2-2.
Langford doesn't quite have as much pop. As we mentioned earlier in this game, has yet to get an extra base hit all season, so I think the infield anticipates this. Playing in, it kind of went to their detriment. She got a single in the 4th.
As we see her foul that one back, as the count stays even at 2-2. Nice job of battling there from Langford. So now Sickles looks at her sign, comes set, and brings home. That one's upstairs for a ball, brings the count to 3-2. So another 3-2 count for Sickles. After we saw some quick swings from the Wolverines last inning, she's kind of returned to the slight control problem as she brings home the 3-2. That one's low and in for a ball, and
that was awfully close. Gutsy play.
Yeah, good eye there from Langford as she walks in that puts the winning run on base for the Wolverines. Be interesting to see if Langford is on the move at all, as she is 3 for 4 on the season with stolen bases.
I don't know. You need to manufacture something here, but kills any and all momentum if you're picked off.
That's true.
Especially with no outs.
You see Erickson coming in. That pitch is well upstairs for ball 1. Erickson, of course, the pinch hitter that the Wolverines brought on in the 5th inning, or excuse me, the 4th inning, to hopefully stimulate that rally. Unable to do so, as Erickson looks at strike 1 on the outside corner. And Erickson, more of a power threat to this Wolverines lineup, with 2 home runs and three 2-baggers on the year. So we see Sickles look for a sign and bring home, as you see swing and a miss, and down to second goes And Langford gets all the way to third as the throw gets away from shortstop Ward, as looks like they might have her, but the throw kind of hit. It looked like it may have hit Langford and trickled back behind second base.
And we're going to have an infield mound visit, or circle visit here. And that's huge. No outs. And that was a swing and a miss, but running on that pitch, so gutsy, probably out if the throw was on point. Definitely had her by a step, but gets away, hits off her helmet, trickles into the outfield when heads up play, sensing that, shaking off being drilled in the helmet and running to third and being just 60 feet away.
Yeah. And for Langford, that pitch or that throw really didn't get that far behind second base, but she was able to use her speed and get to third, which is huge for the Wolverines here with no outs.
Totally, no outs. Heck, I don't know if you'd even consider bunting. That would be tricky, but winning run, just anything to get them in. A fly to the outfield likely does it. No outs here. Michigan looking to squeak out a victory.
Yeah. As Sickles looks in for a sign, comes set as the 1-2 is swung on and missed by Erickson. Big strikeout there for Sickles. And that will bring up Ella McVeigh for the Wolverines as the infield remains in, of course, for the Illini. With just one out, they'll be looking to retire these last two 8-9 hitters for the Wolverines and send this game to extras. But the Wolverines with a chance to walk it off here. As we see a liner from McVeigh directly at Rummel at third base, and
I thought that was it.
And
perfectly positioned, great reaction time mid the grab.
Yeah, just unfortunate there for the Wolverines. A hard hit ball and just directly at Rummel at third base and able to make the quick reaction play. As now we see Audrey Leclerc dig in as that pitch is in there for strike one. Sickles finds the outside corner with that off-speed pitch. As you see Sickles looking down for a sign as Leclerc waits, as we see a ground ball to short, and nice play there by Ward as she throws on to Mallet, and we are going to extras. Got some free softball for you here today on this lovely Sunday.
That was Michigan's opportunity to take the dub. Unable to do it. Runner on third with no outs. And quickly, like in the span of a minute, maybe 90 seconds, you're already back in the dugout grabbing your gloves.
Yeah, the quick strikeout and then the line out on a first pitch, and then within 4 pitches, ground out to end the home half of the 7th, as we will see Durkowski come back out for the for extras. She's up to 103 pitches on the day. They'll just let her work through this heart of the order for the Illini. It'll be 3, 4, 5, Riono, Rummel, and Mallet coming up for the Illini.
I can't believe we're getting an 8th inning from the starting pitcher, Durkowski. It's looking great, but in a game like this, any one mistake could set it apart.
Yeah, especially with some dangerous power hitters coming up for the Illini, with Kelly Riono with 8 home runs on the year, Delaney Rummel with 3 on the year, and then, of course, Sydney Mallet with the 1 already today.
Yeah. And this is the peak of the lineup for the Illini, too. 3, 4, 5.
As we see Riono digging in as Durkowski waits for a sign, gets it, comes set, brings it home as the first pitch is in there for a called strike. Now Durkowski again looking down at her wristband, juggling that ball in her mitt, and comes home, and that pitch is swung on, grounder to third. LeClaire with it over to Livingston, retires the first batter, Riono, for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, and Livingston fell to her knees just to scoop it up, but makes a grab. One out here. Durkowski is in it, locked in.
And now Delaney Rumel digs in for the Illini as she looks at a ball just outside on the first pitch. In 3 plate appearances, Rumel is 0 for 2 with a walk. Now Durkowski comes set. She brings it home as we see a swing and a miss there as Rumel swings through a fastball. Durkowski working quickly, comes home, and that pitch is swung on in line to center field. Lexi Blair is there to retire that one, though, as it's been quick 2 up, 2 down here so far for the Illini.
The outfielders haven't had the opportunity to do much this game, probably for the best. Any balls in play have mostly been grounders, really. Not too many fly balls given up by Durkowski.
As we see Sydney Mallett digging in and taking a ball. Ball one out just outside. As Mallett, as previously mentioned, has a home run and a single, but has a big strikeout as well, as that pitch is fouled back and will end up right back in the mid of Durkowski. But yeah, the big strikeout in the 6th of Mallett when the Illini were threatening with runners on.
And that was huge, a game changer. Turned the momentum right around.
So Durkowski comes set with the pitch, and that one's up and away for a ball. Brings the count to 2-1. As Durkowski brings home the 2-1. That pitch is swung on and fouled straight back. So 2-2 as Durkowski has done a nice job of maneuvering her way through the top, or through the heart of the Illini order thus far, as she looks to give the Wolverines a chance to win it here in the bottom of the 8th. So we see the 2-2 swung on and missed. Really nice off-speed pitch there as Mallett is retired, and the Wolverines will have another chance to win it here in the bottom of the 8th, trying to walk it off in extras.
That'll be the 7th strikeout from Durkowski, the 145th of the season. Incredible season so far, and just continuing to bring her ERA down. She'd have the shutout win if not for that one home run.
Yeah, and she may have a win were it not for the lack of run support that the Wolverines have given her.
Most certainly.
And it is worth noting that the Wolverines' only run of the game came on what was ruled as a fielder's choice because the 1 out was recorded, but what probably should have been a double play to end the inning.
Yeah.
So we'll
Illinois,
see.
if they end up losing this game, they'll be looking at that play the entire bus ride back.
And the girl who scored that run, Ellie Sealer, coming up to the plate to lead off this inning for the this bottom of the 8th for the Wolverines. It'll be the 1, 2, 3 hitters, as it'll be Sealer, Blair, and Mattia. they look to get some sort of rally going and put an end to this game and send everybody home happy. As we see Sealer dig in, still Sydney Sickles remains on the mound for the Illini as she comes set and brings home the first offering. That pitch is just on the outside corner for a strike.
Crowd is getting loud, dugout getting loud. Despite this game going in extras, still a lot of young kids, young families sticking around.
You see the 0-1 is fouled back, and that will make the count quickly now 0-2. Sealer hasn't had the most luck in her plate appearances. A line out in the first, a fielder's choice that she scored on for the Wolverines run, and then a ground out to first in her bats. So she's looking to get something going for the Wolverines as the 0-2 is outside, so that will make the count 1-2. As now Sickles comes set, and the 1-2, and that pitch is up the middle and through for a base hit. Sealer went upstairs to get that one as she leads off the bottom of the 8th with a single.
Huge, and you can see the cracks starting to form. Sickles has been in here quite a while now. Came in for an early bit of relief late into the, I think, 3rd inning is when the sub was made. And you could start to see cracks after last inning, and then now a leadoff single with no outs now.
That'll bring Lexi Blair to the plate as she looks at a ball inside. She was offering to bunt, but pitch was inside, and she pulls back. Makes the count 0-1. Be interesting to see if the Wolverines try some similar action to what got Langford moving first to third on the last inning. Because Sealer does have some speed to her game. 4 stolen bases on 5 attempts so far this year, as the 1-0 pitch is brought home for strike 1, so evens the count at 1-1. Now we see Sickles coming home, and that bunt is laid down expertly as that play to first is in time, and Lexi Blair's retired, but it does move the runner, Sealer, up to second base. So a nice job there by Blair as she lays down a bunt, and Sickles throws it over to first to retire her.
That was the bunt that the team needed last inning. Runner on third, no outs. Had some distance to it, went almost all the way to the circle.
And now we will get Ellie Matea coming up as she looks at a pitch up and out of the strike zone for ball 1. She's 0 for 3 with 2 flyouts and a pop-out so far.
1 hit could finish this game.
Yeah, you got to think anything that gets past this infield is going to be all she wrote.
Oh, especially with the base runner just dancing off second base. Any contact, is rounding third.
Yeah, and the 1-0 was upstairs, so the count's at 2-0 as that pitch is outside, so maybe a little bit of pitching around Matea, or maybe a little wildness.
I don't know if you want to be pitching around when you got Toll coming up next.
Yeah, maybe just a little wildness as the count sits at 3-0. So it'll be interesting to see if they give him the green light, but unnecessary as that pitch is up and away for ball 4. So Matea walks on 4 pitches, and that will bring Kiki Toll up to the plate.
So now we got runners on first and second. Wolverines 1 hit to the outfield away from winning this game. We have a mound visit, bringing in the whole team. the outfielders come on in for this with the coach.
Yeah, probably going to discuss some strategies. There's looks like there's a pitching meeting and a defensive meeting going on in the circle, separate meetings.
We got 2 coaches out and 2 small huddles in the circle. You got to think it's like infield and outfield have to be playing in. Because that's what you got to do. Say a bloop ball gets over the infield's head into the outfield. You need to be prepared to pick it up and gun home. You can't play deep because you know if it gets to you or you have to waste time running in, that's enough time to round the bases and score the go-ahead game-icing walk-off run in the bottom of the 8th now. So you got to play infield in because anything deeper than that, even if you catch it in the fly, there's a chance they could advance on the catch anyway for anything that deep. So I don't know. There's a lot of strategy here. I'm intrigued to see what the Wolverines and what the Illini are able to manufacture.
Yeah, especially with a power hitter with Kiki Toll coming up. It's an interesting dilemma as Toll digs in. The first pitch is upstairs for a ball as Sickles unable to find the strike zone on that one. And Toll with 2 walks and a flyout in their 3 plate appearances. So we see that pitch is swung on and fouled back.
That looked like the pitch, and that looked like the swing, too. A split second too late and a split half an inch too low. But otherwise, that would be over the fence.
Yeah, that's all it takes in softball. It's just those little differences. As the 1-1 is brought home, and that pitch is well outside, and now 2-1 for Kiki Toll.
So still a hitter's count despite that swing and a miss earlier.
As Sickles gets the sign and brings it home. That pitch is just catches the outside corner as that will even the count there at 2-2. So 2-2 count. Toll looking to drive home the winning run. And the 2-2 is well outside. And off speed brings it full to 3-2.
This is tricky because it's 3-2. You want to take the free base if you can, but if you see the right pitch, don't hesitate. Take the cut.
As the 3-2 is brought home, and that pitch is swung on, driven deep to center, and that one is off the wall, and Sealer is rounding third. The throw home is not in time. The Wolverines walk it off. Kiki Toll with the walk-off double off that center field, off of the center field wall, and the Wolverines scratch out a run and win a thriller here on Sunday and win the series as well with this win. Just a great job.
That was an absolute blast. Hit off the outfield fence. I was a little bit concerned that Michigan wouldn't be able to capitalize because you see the winning run on second holding up in case it got caught in the air and ended up bouncing off the fence. But you think maybe the holdup may have been enough to prevent her from rounding the 2 bases. But despite that, able to show up the speed, round third, and then slide, diving in, hand out reach, and touch the plate.
Yeah.
Give Michigan that 8-inning win.
Yeah, it looked like Mattia may have come close to overlapping Sealer there because Sealer was kind of hesitant, trying to make sure that she could still get back to second in case it was caught. But Mattia was kind of flying around. But in the end, works out for the Wolverines as they win this one 2-1. Nice walk-off to end the weekend for the Wolverines and take the series from the Fighting Illini.
Yeah, that's huge. Wolverines go on the road after this to East Lansing on Wednesday, assuming there's no tornado warning this week to cancel that one. Then they stay around in the area, go to West Lafayette, Indiana for a 3-game series against Purdue, and then return home for a Tuesday game against Michigan State here at Alumni Field in Hutchins Stadium, and then the 3-game series against Northwestern on the 21st. They will officially break ground on the new name of this stadium. Any final thoughts in this game?
Yeah, I mean, just a good win for the Wolverines. They battled back after that early home run. Drakowski pitched excellently. But yeah, just a good team win from the Wolverines. The offense wasn't swinging the hottest bats, got a bit unlucky in those first few frames, but did a nice job of doing what they could to manufacture enough runs to win this game.
Yeah, so the Wolverines will move up in the standings with that win. 5-4 in conference now. That brings them to face off. They're right below Nebraska and Iowa and Rutgers in the standings. So still a lot of room for this Michigan Wolverines team. Alternatively, it does send Illinois down. They go to 2-8. And they are right towards the bottom of the conference alongside Purdue and Michigan State. Go figure, Michigan's 2 next opponents. So an opportunity for the Wolverines to make up some ground in these Big Ten standings before Northwestern, the current champ of the Big Ten and a 9-1 in conference record, comes to Ann Arbor. So with that, I think we'll let you go the same way we always do with have a great afternoon, a happy Easter for those who celebrate, and a Go Blue.